There are calls this morning for the price of petrol to be properly investigated amid claims that motorists are being ripped off despite the cost of crude oil falling. 4 of the big supermarkets are dropping prices, but campaigners say that doesn't go far enough. Our correspondent Helen Pearson is at a petrol station in County Durham. Good morning, Helen. So the fuel industry remaining very quiet about this one so far.
Yes, that's right, and campaigners would say a little bit too quiet for the 40 million of us motorists who are used to seeing petrol prices fluctuate but with very little explanation. Here are some of the figures that FairFuelUK say are baffling motorists right now. The price of oil, for starters, has fallen by 16%. You think that might translate into a drop in fuel prices, but far from it. Unleaded petrol has in fact gone up by 9%, and while motorists are paying more, some of the industry's retailers are enjoying some very healthy profit margins, some of them up 15% on their unleaded petrol and up more than 21% on diesel. And campaigners simply say that, well, the industry are quids in, but us motorists, well, we're missing out. This is what FairFuelUK had to say.
People, when they go and fill up their cars, their vehicles, want to know that when prices of oil go up or down, they want to know with some certainty what they're going to be paying at the pumps. At the moment, they have no idea. And what we're calling on is to stop this retail opportunistic profiteering that's obviously going on in garages across the UK.
Well, the UK Petroleum Industry Association says it's important to note that here in the UK, petrol prices have been amongst the lowest in Europe over the last 10 years. You might have noticed even some of the big supermarkets dropping their prices just this last weekend.
Helen, thanks for that.
While some of our largest supermarket chains continue to cut their petrol prices, there are calls this morning for the price of petrol to be properly investigated amid claims that motorists are still being ripped off despite the cost of crude oil falling.
The latest figures show that over the past 6 months, the price of crude oil has fallen by 16%. During that same period, the price of petrol at the pump has risen by 9%. And if that wasn't bad enough, some petrol retailers' profit margins have risen to almost 15% for unleaded petrol, over 21% for diesel during this time.
We're joined now from Westminster by Howard Cox from FairFuelUK. Good morning to you. Don't think this is fair, do you?
Yes, good morning. It most certainly is very unfair. You've mentioned all the statistics just now, with oil coming down by over 16% and fuel going up by 9% at the pumps. What's going on? And we're calling for a public inquiry with the Competitions and Markets Authority, and we have 80 MPs backing that initiative.
The situation is obviously going to hit the drivers worse, and that's the situation. That's what you're calling for, is an understanding that actually the price reduction that's happening for the retailers should be passed on to the drivers. Are you going to get very far with that, though?
Well, we think we will do. I mean, the whole process at the pumps in terms of how petrol and diesel is priced is shrouded in mystery, and the profiteering that's going on is totally opportunistic at the and we've asked the Petrol Retailers Association 3 times in the last month to tell us, please can you explain how prices are arrived at the pumps. And we've got 1.1 million supporters of FairFuelUK, and they are absolutely incandescent with rage as what's going at the pumps. They've got no idea what happens when oil goes down. Prices don't come down quick enough. And when oil goes up, guess what? Prices at the pumps go up almost immediately.
Although at the weekend, a number of retailers did slash their prices, a number of supermarkets indeed. So perhaps this is now trickling down, and we are seeing the price come down at the pump.
You're absolutely right. It is coming down now in the supermarkets, and we applaud them, particularly as there are Morrisons who tend to lead the way in this aspect. But as we've said, 14 weeks ago, diesel was priced lower than petrol for the first time for nearly 5 years at wholesale level, and yet something like 4 to 5p lower, by the way, but we don't see that sort of level of difference at the pumps. What's going on? And so MPs and our supporters and our backers are particularly asking this simple question: how are prices at the pumps arrived at?
All right, Howard Cox from FairFuelUK, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Howard. It's 23 minutes past 6.